So let's go this way. So Raymond, you were telling me that the last time you were here was in 1968.
Yeah, it was April of 1968 that I first came to the Arlington National Cemetery, and the reason that I was able to come here was because the 82nd Airborne came to Washington, D.C. to help quell the riots during the Martin Luther King assassination. And after the riots had been, quelled, they made a special exception for the 82nd Airborne to enter Arlington National Cemetery in our OD greens, our workday uniform. Whenever the military enters in uniform to Arlington National Cemetery, it must be in dress greens, dress blues, or the dress uniform. But being that we had helped put out the riots and the country wanted to show its appreciation to the 82nd Airborne, they allowed us to enter this hallowed ground, the Arlington National Cemetery, where many American warriors rest in peace in our work uniforms. And it was quite profound, believe me, as an 18-year-old, to stand here at Arlington National Cemetery and to also, for the first time, view President John Fitzgerald Kennedy's final resting place. And it is quite the place of honor. So as a member of the 82nd Airborne Division, an 18-year-old, to come here, it was quite the honor. And here today, September 17th, 2017, I'm entering the hallowed ground, the Arlington National Cemetery, with Marco Gutierrez and his son Michael. And I'm quite honored to be here, and I hope that the American people will enjoy this tour that we're going to be going to. God bless you.
Awesome. Somebody was saying that his dad was 82.
Huh?
Somebody was saying that his dad was 82. You were 83?
82nd year.
82nd. Oh.
Dedicated to all women, all Brits, some are military past.
Do you know where the unknown soldier?
Continue up this hill, bear up to your left hand side.
Up this hill. Thank you. So what do you say about the tomb of the unknown soldiers for all the soldiers that died?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Marco, I'm starting to get choked up.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's okay, people, because here we enter the grounds where our American warriors are buried. Those that have fought and died to give you and me the right to be an American, to live free, and to maintain our way of life and our freedoms. And whenever, it's the second time that I've entered here, it's quite emotional for me and other warriors to see this, because every stone represents an American warrior that he's either killed in action or he died as a result of his wounds. And pretty sacred grounds. I'm starting to get choked up, but that's okay, people. We walk amongst the resting place of American warriors, and you can see the grave sites. Each and every one of them sacrificed their life for you. In America, you should, learn from this, that freedom is not free, and our way of life is not free. As I gaze upon the gravestones, believe me, I'm being overcome with emotion. Being that I am a Vietnam veteran, that there's, heavily connected to this place. And I hope that you people, the American people, can appreciate this tour.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you. I often wonder who they were, what farm they came from, what city they came from, what municipality, they came from, where they were raised. But look at this sacrifice, America. the intrinsic value of their lives will never be measured, at least not monetarily or emotionally. This is quite the scene here. Thousands upon thousands from, you know, Civil War all the way to today, 2017. The cemetery is filling up. I don't know how much space is left here, but if I had a choice to ever be buried, it would be here. But, you know, it's so crowded now that only very special warriors get to be buried here. Those that either are officers or Medal of Honor winners, or those that have died in a distinguished manner. But in fact, up on the hill, this farm used to belong to Robert E. Lee, Arlington, and his stable is up there. Is now a museum, if I remember correctly. So that we are one people from the north and from the south, east and west, and we all share a common bond here.
What's up,
the
guys?
blood of our American warriors.
What's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing? All right. Awesome place, huh? Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. God bless. There's a lot of warriors here that have died in our honor.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm on.
I don't think we officially met on stage, Monica.
She's getting a little emotional.
We're just pausing it, just a second.
My grandfather.
I've been crying the whole.
We all get emotional on days like this.
Yeah.
Especially coming off of yesterday.
Freedom's not free.
No, it's not. I'm a veteran.
God bless y'all. Have a wonderful day.
All right, guys. Good day. Good.
That was Monica. Her grandfather's buried here. He was a captain in World War II and in the Navy. Like I said, you know, I got a lump in my throat, but I'm filled with pride. A lot of pride. Let's go over here, Marcos. This monument here is dedicated to Field Marshal Sir John Dill. And he died in 1944. What a monument, people. Let's walk around here and look at this story. A monument to the American warrior that shall never be torn down, and neither should any monument of Confederate soldiers ever be desecrated. These are American warriors. Like I said, Confederates, they're American warriors. Their blood was spilled on behalf of the American people. You don't desecrate warriors' blood. You don't desecrate their flag, just like you don't desecrate our statues. You know, and America needs to realize that we need to stand united and defend our American warriors that rest in their final resting place, whether it be Arlington National Cemetery, whether it be Charleston, Virginia, or, you know, anywhere. This is hallowed ground, America. We need to stand with the South to defend the blood of our warriors that was spilt during the Civil War. It's immoral to have people this day, through political correctness, to label our American warriors and the blood that was spilt as racist. It's not. They fought for and died for each and every one of them, whether they be Union soldiers or whether they be Confederate soldiers, just like Field Marshal Dill. on your behalf. And I'll say it again, freedom is not free.
Do you know what the unknown soldier?
Ah, the unknown soldier. Did I?
Good.
Watch me. Row upon row of American warriors. Heroes that gave the ultimate sacrifice. They didn't come home, but to a final resting place here at Arlington National Cemetery, here in Washington, D.C. You can gaze upon all the gravestones. You can see how many American warriors have died. Both men and women have died so that we can live free as a society and a culture. And, like I said, a pretty emotional place. People from the Civil War, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq. And the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is here as well, and you know, that's very well known throughout the world. As well, the gravesite of President John Fitzgerald Kennedy is here too. But it's so huge of a cemetery that we have limited time to, you know, actually go up looking for people or whatever. So we're just going to take a quick impromptu tour of Arlington National Cemetery. As I gaze upon these grave sites, it emboldens me even more to fight for America. I hope it's doing the same to you people. We the people. This is why I say that our fathers, the greatest generation of American warriors that America and the world have ever witnessed or ever will witness, that we as Americans, we the people, must stand and defend America. Defend America against all invaders, be it that they're armed or not armed. Like today, we have an illegal alien population that seeks to destroy the blood of our American warriors. They shall not die in vain, is what I always say. It's not just your house. It's why we defend America. Look at all these American warriors that gave everything they had. When the air around them was blackened by the enemy lead on Normandy Beach, Guadalcanal, we stand here and we do nothing to defend our country? I think not. I think that we owe a greater debt of gratitude to each and every American warrior that's buried here, be it his name is Salisbury, Hanna, Hart, Gonzalez, Kitterman, Reynolds, Warren, Colburn, Lynch. These are the names that I'm reading off the gravestones right now. We cannot let their sacrifice go undefended. They did not die in vain. Even the wives like Ann Rose, and wife of an American warrior, Charles Rose, buried alongside her husband. The intrinsic value will never be measured. It can never be repaid. Let's look at this map over here, Marco. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier lies this way. Let's see where we're at. Right here is where we're at, people. Here's the Gold Star Mother's Memorial Tree, the Civil War Unknown, the Memorial Amphitheater, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. We must go there, Marco. And I believe that we're right here, so we must go down this way and swirl around there. Spanish-American War Nurses and Spanish-American War. So it's quite the place. The Arlington National Administration Building, President Taft. It's all here, people. The Rough Riders from, you know, Teddy Roosevelt. The Battle of the Bulge. The Confederate Memorial. Do you think that they may want to enter Arlington National Cemetery and desecrate the Confederate Memorial? I think not. So what's the difference between Arlington National Cemetery and Charleston? You don't desecrate the blood of our American warriors ever, wherever they may lay, and you don't exhume the bodies of dead American warriors just because you want to be politically correct. There's so much blood represented here, people. Let's stand up and fight for our country. Let's take our country back. And this is only part of the American warriors. You understand that at Normandy, in places like Iwo Jima, in France, there are millions of gravestones. Hundreds of thousands of men died in World War II. Solomon Islands, for example. In one excursion in the Solomon Islands, 10,000 Marines died. Island hopping in the South Pacific. We'd lose 10 to 5,000 American warriors, Marines, Army, Navy, Air Force. They didn't all make it home. Some are buried at the bottom of the ocean. Some are buried on islands. Some are buried at the top of Normandy Beach. But here in America, we honor our dead, our American war heroes, our American warriors, and the blood that they sacrificed. They gave up their all. Here it is. And Marco, over here, there's a section here that's dirt. This may be an active gravesite where they're burying, you know, the few selected, you know, American warriors that have died. You know, you have to have a special authorization to be buried this day here at Arlington. Let me go over here, Marco, and let me see what's happening here.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on, Marco, we got to show this. Right now, as we speak, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, there's the changing of the guard. And I'm hoping to make it up there to at least capture some of it on video for you. I know that you probably have seen, some of you have seen it on television, but this is being live streamed by American patriots.
Hey, how's it going, Marco? We got it back at the barbecue at 8 o'clock. So we went up, took a few pictures.
They're changing the guard right now?
No, they weren't. Yeah, just.
All right.
What is it?
Straight up.
Tuck into it there. So quiet and peaceful here, befitting of a final resting place. Right in the middle of Washington, D.C., so to say, is cement jungle. There's to Arlington National Cemetery, a serene and hallowed place. It's hard to believe. You can't not even hear the vehicles driving by. Really quiet. We're walking up upon the tomb of the unknown soldiers. These are American warriors that were never identified. Unknown, but to God. Unknown to the American people. But this is their final resting place. It's a memorial to their sacrifice. Can you imagine? They died in fierce battles that they didn't even recover their dog tags. They do not know who they are.
Just to close the light like we did earlier. It's closed.
This is the Memorial Amphitheater here at Arlington National Cemetery. And I just want to send a message to the governor, Kasich, and any other governor that's desecrating the graves of Confederate soldiers. I dare you to come to Arlington National Cemetery and dig up Confederate warriors or American warriors. I dare you to desecrate their monuments here in Arlington, because they are here. Political correctness over the blood of American warriors shall not be tolerated. And for every American out there that thinks that the Confederate soldiers' monuments and their statues are anything but patriotic, that think that it's not, then you need to get out of my country. American warriors spilled their blood from the Union and from the South. You have no right to desecrate the memorial dedicated to American warriors, ever. Not here in Washington, not in Charleston, not in Texas, not even in California. So take your political correctness and you know where you can go with it.
Thank you. So just to wrap it up. So you said you were here 1968.
1968.
What was your feeling then? What was your emotional, psychological state?
Well,
and what is it now?
When I came here in 1968, it's before I went to Vietnam, before I really learned the intrinsic value of what that American flag means and what it meant to be a real American warrior. At that time, I was just a garrison soldier with the 82nd Airborne Division. I was only 18 years old prior to going to Vietnam. When I went to Vietnam, I learned the true value of American warriors and the blood that they spilled. For some of my friends died from my platoon.
Okay. So you're saying that you learned the true
the
value
difference.
of
Yeah. Prior to going to Vietnam, I was a garrison soldier with the 82nd Airborne Division, proudly so. But after going to Vietnam and coming back today, it's quite different. Very emotional, because, you know, as I was saying earlier, September 16th, 1969, PFC Larry Pepanowski and Sergeant Walter Lowell were killed at sunrise. And so yesterday when I was at the Moore rally.
So it's starting to cut off. Well,
Is it on?
it's on now.
Yeah, so anyway, today is a very emotional day walking through Arlington National Cemetery. As I was telling you, September 16th, 1969, PFC Larry Pepanowski, who was my best friend, 3rd Platoon, Delta Company, 173rd Airborne, 1st Battalion, were killed in an ambush when the sun came up. And yesterday I was at the Moore rally, September 16th, 2017. They were weighing on my mind, weighing on my soul. You know, it's quite different now. Very emotional. Where before I was just a tourist, even though I was in the military. After I served 12 months in combat, America had such a different meaning as the American flag did. And I learned the hard way. Freedom. Freedom is not free, people. And for this reason, I fight with an insurmountable amount of passion that can't even be matched. You know, it's like I fight for America because I know that the blood of our friends and American warriors shall not be shed in vain. And I refuse to surrender America to illegal aliens and invading army from the South. And I will fight till I drop.
Thank you for your service so much, so very much. Our history is in blood that flows through arteries of the nation. Without it, we would have no future. Our history. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, what are they gonna come here and dig everybody up just to change history?
Yeah, political correctness.
I mean,
Take away the sacrifice of American warriors for political correctness just because they fought in the Confederate Army, but they fought for the Union, you know, and they died for you and I. Both sides of the Civil War were American. There was a disagreement in the violations of the American creed. And the price is paid in the blood that was spilled on the battlefields. Some of those soldiers are buried here, and I'm wondering if all the liberals and all the political correctness, you know, that's having the graves desecrated and monuments removed, I think that you should leave our country. You don't belong here. You want to desecrate the blood of American warriors, then you need to find another country to live in. And for the American people, we're enraged. We don't have to be Southerners. We don't have to have had fathers that fought in the Union or fought in the Confederate Army. It's a slap and personal affront, especially to American warriors, to see that Governor Kasich and other governors are allowing the graves of Confederate soldiers to be desecrated, to dig up their remains and throw them into the river, or to remove monuments. General Robert E. Lee in Charleston, Virginia, anywhere. The American people need to stand up to political correctness and the desecration of the graves of American warriors. And I challenge the liberals and the Democrats that are allowing this to happen. I challenge you to leave my country, leave the hallowed grounds of the American people and their warriors, and don't ever return. That's how I feel. Look at some of the names here. I'm going to read some of the names. Smith from Minnesota, Brown, Vaughn, Savage, Van Hook, Dale, Lode, Logan, Phelan, Matthews. This one says the Rock of the Marine, Alexander, I believe he was the general. Booth, Williams. Look at these names, Marco. Wills, Willis, Frazier, Bemis, Newman, Reiner, Mahoney, Gardner. These are just some of the names I read. And you know, in the movement, the illegal aliens in their media like to say that they too have fought to defend America, that they're American warriors that spilled blood on our battlefields. But the names that I read, there wasn't one Hispanic or Latino name. There was not one name that came from Mexico. And yet there are Herreras, there are Gutierrez buried here, but they were American. They weren't Mexican, they weren't Hispanic or Latino. The color of the skin was American. And they fought and died on the battlefield as Americans in the name of the American creed, our American flag, and the American people. But to Mexico, to all the you Latino that want to overthrow the American people, show me where these people come from Mexico. Show me your contribution, President Calderon, Nieto, and Fox. They're saying that you have fought in our wars. There isn't one of your people buried here. Only American warriors of all ethnicities, even of American, of Mexican descent, Puerto Rican descent, Dominican. They fought and died as American warriors. They didn't fight for Mexico. They didn't fight for Puerto Rico. They fought for America. And a lot of them are buried here. And I just read you the names right over there. And just to prove the point to you, that this is America, and the names on these gravestones are all American, be it Smith or Gonzalez. They are all Americans. And something else, Marco. You stop to think about, who are these people? Who are these warriors? Who were their families?
Their moms, dads, brothers.
Yeah. Where did they come from? Why is it that they are able to step onto the battlefield and sacrifice their life in the name of the American people? Because they're patriotic and they're loyal to the American creed and this great nation that we call America, the United States of America. And look at where they're at. Buried at Arlington National Cemetery, the ultimate sacrifice and the ultimate resting place. It's pretty amazing to me, pretty emotional to me. I have to try to block out my emotions to talk to you, America, but sometimes I can't. You know, Marco was asking me just earlier, what was the difference prior to Vietnam as a member of the 82nd Airborne? You know, I was just out of high school. I had just quit high school. I mean, even though I knew that this was a place of honor, it had impact on me in April of '68, but not the impact that it's having right now after having experienced Vietnam and the sacrifice of my friends. You know, like I said, Larry Pepanowski and Walter Lowell, they just happened that September 16th, 1969 was the day that they were killed in an ambush. There's others in my platoon that were killed. Sam Waddle, Dewey Ruis, Boffman, Burdett. I don't want to keep reciting their names or thinking about their names because I'm starting to get emotional. But yeah, many American warriors have stepped onto the battlefield and they ended up here and all across, you know, France and Germany, you know, in the islands, Solomon Islands. There's thousands of American Marines and U.S. Army and Navy and Air Force that were buried, they never made it home. Buried at sea. They're not here. They're over there. They never came home, either physically or emotionally. They died. They were killed. Pretty amazing place, Mark.
It is. You know, it's really first time I'm here, and just to have the opportunity to be with you, that's a great thing, because you participated and
yeah, this is what it means to be an American. This is what it means to be a proud American, and this is why I fight the battle, so that the men that sacrifice their lives for my country, my American culture, the American creed, shall not have died in vain. I mean, what would our fathers have thought, people, landing on Normandy Beach or Iwo Jima with their life exploding before them, knowing that they were going to be killed, that there was no chance for survival? What would they have said if somebody had said to them, they're going to surrender America in the year 2017 without firing a shot, without standing with weapons to defend America? I know if I had been on those landing crafts at Normandy Beach and somebody said that to me, I'd say, go to hell. I'm not fighting Normandy Beach. I won't fight at Iwo Jima. I won't fight in Vietnam, because the American people are going to become so complacent and so immoral as to let America be surrendered by the body politic in Washington, D.C. in the name of international corporations and corporate America. Think about this, people. Think about the horror that these men witnessed right before they died. Arms, legs, heads blown off, bodies floating in the ocean. How I like to say, it was the day that the Grim Reaper came calling upon our fathers. The day that the ocean, the sand, and the land turned red with the blood of our American fathers. Are you willing to surrender America, sitting on the couch, to illegal aliens, to corporate America, international corporations, and an inept federal government, and government, and governments at all levels across the United States, just so you can sit on the couch, just so that America can be turned into a Hispanic, Latino world? I'm not. I'm an American, and proudly so, of Mexican descent, like the American of Mexican descent, and the American of Irish descent, and German descent, and Polish descent, and Japanese descent that are buried here at Arlington National Cemetery. They're not willing to surrender their America. We are one people, bound together by the American creed in an Anglo-Protestant core cultured society. That's who we are, people. If you can't accept that, then you too need to be deported. But as you gaze upon these graves of the American warrior, how can you sit on that couch and not do anything? How could you not have joined us yesterday in Washington, D.C. when America was unifying at the Moore rally, the mother of all rallies? This is why we gathered yesterday. In their memory. I, for one, and I know Marco for two, and I know all of you out there that are American patriots, we refuse to surrender the blood of our fathers. I'd rather surrender my life right now to preserve the memory of these American warriors here. We cannot and we shall not allow the desecration of our American warriors and their sacrifice, people. Just can't do it. Look at these men. They wanted to live just like you. They were young. They were 19, 20, 21, 22. And we sit on the couch doing nothing to defend their sacrifice. Look at these graves, people. Look at the intrinsic value of being an American. Freedom is not free. And it's evident here, right now in Washington, D.C., at the Arlington National Cemetery, that it wasn't free and it never will be free. There always will be an American warrior defending you to the very end. They'll end up in cemeteries like this. How can you sit on the couch, America, and not come out here with the American patriots and defend America? This has nothing to do with ethnicity. It has nothing to do with being racist. It has nothing to do with being anti-immigrant, which we're not. This is the price of freedom, people, you're looking at. You want to sit on the couch and surrender your America? Go ahead. But the 3%ers, there's only 3% of us fighting this battle. We refuse to surrender. And we beckon you, America. We beckon all of you, all of America, to come out and stand up and be proud. There's no ethnicity here. The color of their skin was American. They died as American warriors for you and I. And how dare you sit on the couch and not be out here fighting for your country? They wanted to live too. They wanted to have babies. They wanted to have a family. They never did. They never returned to America to live their American dream. They gave up their American dream. They gave up their life so that you can have it. And how immoral is it for these men to have died and that you enjoy your American dream and not step out onto the battlefield this day in America defending against all comers, the corrupt government, illegal aliens, and people of liberal thought that want your country. They want the blood of your American warriors, and they want to sell you out, to sell out America just so they can make a corporate dollar. I don't think so. This is one thing about the President Donald Trump understands. He's the American-created president that can lead America.
Lori,
You know,
Lori briefly says, my husband is buried there. You want to say something to her? Lori,
He's buried here.
her husband.
And you know what? We salute your husband. And, you know, it's with great pain that we offer you condolences. America can never repay your husband or any of these American warriors that are buried here. There's no intrinsic value to their sacrifice. And that's what I find that's so immoral about the Americans that are sitting on the couch. How would you like to have died at Normandy Beach, died in Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, died, killed in action for the ungrateful? I don't think so. There's plenty of American patriots standing up. This is why we stand. We will continue to stand, and we shall save our republic, save America. Like I said, you have to kill me before you get my country. And there's a lot of American patriots that feel this way. This is not a nation of immigrants. In fact, it's a nation of Americans, we the people, and our American warriors that are here. That's what it's about. It's about the sacrifice. It's about the toil that it took to build this great nation. It wasn't built by immigrants. It was built by Americans. It was built by Americans that either they were born here or they naturalized, but they raised that right hand and took the oath of allegiance to the American people. And let me tell you something. When you think about equality of condition, you know, and there's, you know, Americans that were born and Americans that took the oath, we're all equal. Your contributions are no longer that of immigrants. It's that of Americans. America built this. The American people built this nation. No other people built this. No other people fought these battles but the American people. Men and women. There's women buried here too that gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Thank you for your service.
Huh?
Thank you for your service. We cannot allow corrupt government to remove our history.
And we shall not. And it shall not be tolerated, the tyranny that's being perpetrated upon the American people. I refuse to surrender. I refuse. I wish I could resurrect these true American patriots that are buried here. I know that they would step onto the battlefield in a heartbeat. They'd give this ultimate sacrifice in a heartbeat. But I question the American people. Why is it that you sit at home afraid to step out onto the
Afraid to
streets and
speak.
defend your country?
Afraid to defend with war, with deed, what the American stands for. So a lot of people are afraid to just simply be open about their beliefs, political beliefs. They're hiding behind a desk. They hide behind the normal life, what they call a normal life, but the normal life is what this guy did, to die for what they believe.
So that you can enjoy your America. Like I said, it's immoral that you sit on the couch and do nothing. Okay, Raymond, so let's close it up. And then we're gonna look for Michael. So you wanna say thank you to everybody? It's like 1,000 people actually. I want to thank everybody that came on this tour given by Marco Gutierrez and Raymond Herrera of Latinos for Trump. Americans of Mexican descent for America. And I beckon you, America, that if you haven't stepped out onto the streets, if you haven't called Washington, if you haven't written a letter to your senator, to do so. Do it in the name of these great American warriors that sacrificed everything they had so that you could live here in America, so that you could enjoy your freedoms. These men did not have families. They did not have babies. They didn't complete the cycle of life. They sacrificed all that they had so that you and I could have freedom. Freedom is not free, America. Don't you ever forget that. When those that sit on the couch and refuse to help the American patriots defend America, I won't say where you can go, but I think you can assume what I'm thinking.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you for watching.
September 17th, 2017, I'm entering the hallowed ground, the Arlington National Cemetery, with Marco Gutierrez and his son Michael. And I'm quite honored to be here, and I hope that the American people will enjoy this tour that we're going to be going to. God bless you.
Awesome. Somebody was saying that his dad was 82.
Huh?
Somebody was saying that his dad was 82. You were 83?
82nd year.
82nd. Oh.
Dedicated to all women, all Red Summer military past.
Do you know where the unknown soldier?
Continue up this hill, bear up to your left hand side.
Up this hill.
The gate we just went.
Thank you. So what do you say about the tomb of the unknown soldiers for all the soldiers that died?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Marco, I'm starting to get choked up.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's okay, people, because here we enter the grounds where our American warriors are buried. Those that have fought and died to give you and me the right to be an American, to live free, and to maintain our way of life and our freedoms. And whenever, you know, it's the second time that I've entered here, it's quite emotional for me and other warriors to see this, because every stone represents an American warrior that he's either killed in action or he died as a result of his wounds. And pretty sacred grounds. I'm starting to get choked up, but that's okay, people. You know, we walk amongst the resting place of American warriors, and you can see the grave sites. Each and every one of them sacrificed their life for you. In America, you should, you know, learn from this, that freedom is not free, and our way of life is not free. As I gaze upon the gravestones, believe me, I'm being overcome with emotion. Being that I am a Vietnam veteran, that there's, you know, heavily connected to this place. And I hope that you people, the American people, can appreciate this tour.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you. I often wonder who they were, what farm they came from, what city they came from.
So, let's go this way. So Raymond, you were telling me that the last time you were here was in 1968.
Yeah, it was April of 1968 that I first came to the Arlington National Cemetery, and the reason that I was able to come here was because the 82nd Airborne came to Washington, D.C. to help quell the riots during the Martin Luther King assassination. And after the riots had been, you know, quelled, they made a special exception for the 82nd Airborne to enter Arlington National Cemetery in our OD greens, our workday uniform. Whenever the military enters in uniform into Arlington National Cemetery, it must be in dress greens, dress blues, or the dress uniform. But being that we had helped put out the riots and the country wanted to show its appreciation to the 82nd Airborne, they allowed us to enter this hallowed ground, the Arlington National Cemetery, where many American warriors rest in peace in our work uniforms. And it was quite profound, believe me, as an 18-year-old, to stand here at Arlington National Cemetery and to also, for the first time, view President John Fitzgerald Kennedy's final resting place. And it is quite the place of honor. So, as a member of the 82nd Airborne Division, an 18-year-old, To come here, it was quite the honor. And here today, from what municipality, they came from, where they were raised. But look at this Sacrifice America. The intrinsic value of their lives will never be measured, at least not monetarily or emotionally. This is quite the scene here. Thousands upon thousands from, Civil War all the way to today, 2017. The cemetery is filling up. I don't know how much space is left here, but if I had a choice to ever be buried, it would be here. But, it's so crowded now that only very special warriors get to be buried here. Those that either are officers or Medal of Honor winners, or those that have died in a distinguished manner. But in fact, up on the hill, this farm used to belong to Robert E. Lee, Arlington, and his stable is up there. Is now a museum, if I remember correctly. So that we are one people, from the north and from the south, east and west, and we all share a common bond here.
What's up,
the
guys?
blood of our American warriors.
What's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? You
All right.
brother?
Awesome place, huh?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. God bless. There's a lot of warriors here that have died in our honor.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm on.
God bless.
I don't think we officially met on
Trying
stage,
to-
Monica.
She's getting a little emotional.
We're just pausing it just a second.
My grandfather.
I've been crying the whole.
We all get emotional on days like this.
Yeah.
Especially coming off of yesterday.
Freedom's not free.
No, it's not. I'm a veteran.
God bless y'all. Have a wonderful day.
All right, guys. Good day. Good.
That was Monica. Her grandfather's buried here. He was a captain in World War II and in the Navy. Like I said, I got a lump in my throat, but I'm filled with pride. A lot of pride. Let's go over here, Marcos.